I love that question. And I talk about this all the time, like in the interview process. If I'm, when I have a position that I'm hiring for, this is one of the things that I talk about with any of the candidates is having a well-rounded team is so much more important than having team members from all the same academic background. And so currently the staff that I have, they're nurses, they're MPHs, and then I have lab personnel. There was one point that I even had a master's in human resources employee. So all of the different disciplines together, we can see things from the different lens of our academia background, but then also bring it together to one nice infection prevention product that we're producing when we're setting expectations for the individuals, the staff that are working in our facilities, in our healthcare system. And so it brings different perspectives. And I can say this, just kind of thinking through for my master's in public health team members, when they have to go into the patient's room and look at the devices, the central lines or the Foley catheters or the ventilators, or look at surgical sites, then that's a little bit something that's different for them because they weren't exposed to that. But I use my clinical staff, the RNs, to do teaching prior to us ever even exposing them to going in to see the patient. Let's talk about what this is. Where does that central line terminate? And in that patient's right atrium, let's talk about why it's important to keep it clean, because look where it's ending. And then having them understand that clinical piece of it that they didn't get because they are masters in public health. And then reverse the role. My masters in public health, when we see any trending that's happening, my epidemiology staff can put that line list together and then teach my clinical staff, here's how you put that together. Here's how you're supposed to look at that. And then here's where I see, when I'm looking at this spreadsheet, the trends that are noted very clearly when I put all these patients together. And then my microbiology team members, if there's a particular cluster of something going on, we use them to help us figure out where in the world is this bug coming from, right? So I'm seeing it on a couple of patients, like what could possibly be the index case and where did that person get it from? So having them understand the microbiology behind an organism helps us to understand what strategies we need to put in place in order to prevent it from spreading. And so having all those disciplines work together, because the microbiologist can say, here's where it's coming from, and here's probably where we need to break the chain of transmission. And then my clinical staff can say, okay, well, here's how we're going to have them understand what they're supposed to be doing when this happens to the patient. Here's what they need to do to keep it clean. And here's how often they should be watching it or monitoring it. And then my epidemiology staff can say, well, this is how many patients have it. And so it looks like the cross transmission may have occurred at this particular moment because these patients were in this room, then they were in that room, and then that's probably where it happened. And so again, putting all those disciplines together is what helps make us, have a well-rounded team. And then that for me is what advances your program to, help. Again, the whole point is to always create and enhance the patient safety that you want for your organization.